Welcome! Welcome back to my channel if you are new here. My name is Jacqueline. This is part of my jungle, and if you are not new here, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. So today I have another PLANTMAS video for you. I have no idea what day we're on because I'm filming these all out of order, but I hope that you have been enjoying them, and if I'm on track the way I'm supposed to be, it should be day 3 of PLANTMAS today. So it's December, you guys. This is crazy. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about plants that are shocking, right? That are going to make really great gifts for the planty beginner in your life. So this was a suggestion from, I think, a plant fan member. I'm sorry, I can't remember who suggested it, but you guys gave me a lot of really great suggestions on my community tab. If you have any other things that you want to see for PLANTMAS, definitely leave it in the comment section below. But I thought this was a good video to talk about gifts that are good for beginners, gifts that are good for intermediate plant parents, and gifts that are good for expert plant parents or experienced plant parents, whatever you want to call it. So today I'm just gonna talk about part 1, and then we will hit the other 2 later on. So stay tuned for that. Today, I want to note that when I talk about beginners, I mean people who have been collecting plants for less than a year, or people who don't have any plants at all and don't know what they're doing. So this is for maybe a family member or a friend that you want to help get into plants, or somebody maybe who expressed to you that they want to start caring for plants, but maybe they're afraid they're not very good at it. So I compiled a quick list of really easy care plants and my go-to plants for when I'm gifting to family members and friends who are not necessarily plant savvy. So you want to set them up to succeed, because if they succeed with the first few plants that they have, they're going to want more. If they don't succeed and they murder the first couple of plants they have, a lot of people are really quick to give up and just assume, I don't have a green thumb, I shouldn't have plants, which is not a thing. I don't like this notion of having a green thumb or not having a green thumb, because girl, I killed a lot of plants in my first year of collecting plants, let me tell you. But look at me now. Like, we're 3, almost 4 years into this, and we're good. Like, we don't really kill plants anymore. I mean, plants still die. It's a thing. Plants get neglected. Stuff happens. Pests, all of that fun stuff that comes with plant parenthood. But I'm not just like murdering plants left and right like I did in the beginning, because let me tell you, I was a plant serial killer. Okay, but it helped me learn what kind of plants work for me and who I am as a plant parent. Like, I, for example, don't want to water my plants all the time. I know some people that want to water their plants every day. Like, you do you, boo. Then you'll be okay with thirsty plants. For me, I like plants that are going to be really tolerant of drought and my neglect because I'm not good at it. That's why this begonia here behind me is in a self-watering pot. So there's that. There's ways around it, obviously, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is making sure that you're setting people up to succeed. So the first plant that I usually will give somebody, it depends on their personality too. Like, I like to give someone a plant that I think they're actually gonna like. And I like to have an idea of their environment. Like, if they have big west-facing windows, then I know I can get them something that can tolerate bright light. If they don't have a ton of light, then I might go with something else. Does that make sense? So I don't necessarily always love gifting a plant to somebody without knowing them very well. So when it comes to a family member, if I know that they're going to be really neglectful and forget to water the plant, I'm not going to be giving them a calathea for Christmas. Like, it's just not going to happen. So Keep those things in mind. And these also just in general are going to make good, safe plant gifts to somebody that you might not know very well. So you don't know if they know what they're doing or not. So it's always better to give them something easy than to give them something difficult. But everybody's different. I know people that'll go to the store and buy a fiddle leaf fig that know nothing about plants, and the thing thrives in their house. So like everybody is different, everybody's environment is different, and the way that people care for their plants are different. So there's a lot of nuance to everything that I'm going to be saying. Just keep that in mind. Okay? Anyway, first on my list should be really obvious, and that is a ZZ plant. You really cannot go wrong with buying somebody a ZZ plant. The only way you're going to go wrong is if they hate the look of it. Some people just don't like ZZ plants because they don't look like regular plants, but other people might like that about them. Some people might not have a lot of space. They might want something that's a little bit more vertical and structural, that's not going to take up a ton of space. So that's why it's important, like I said, to know their environment. I like to scope out people's houses and be like, okay, they can put a pothos in the corner over there, so like I'm gonna get them one whether they like it or not. So that's number 2 on my list, obviously, is a pothos. You guys, you can't go wrong with a pothos. It depends on which, I'm speaking specifically about Epipremnum, and it depends on which one. Okay, so if this is for a beginner, I really recommend like a golden pothos or a jade pothos, even a marble queen pothos, something that's just a straight up Epipremnum Aureum, like nothing complicated, because as soon as you start getting into the enjoys and the manjulas and things along those lines, those plants get thirsty and they might not be the best option for somebody. But on the flip side, these are also really great plants for teaching somebody how often to water a plant, because they are very forgiving and they get droopy. Everybody knows that pothos get droopy when they're thirsty. They look sad. They'll let you know that they're thirsty. So it's kind of a foolproof plant. Like you might lose a couple of leaves if you wait too long to water it, but it's usually not that big of a deal because you have a big bushy plant. So that's an option. So for somebody that I know has the space for a big bushy plant, a pothos is a great gift to give a beginner or somebody who's just not really a plant person, but they want some plants in their space. So number 3 on my list are snake plants, and that shouldn't be surprising. I think I've given everybody in my family a snake plant. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like you really can't go wrong with a snake plant. There are so many options too. There's little ones, there's big ones, there's variegated ones, there's ones with yellow leaves, there's ones with green leaves, there's ones with stripy leaves. Like there's something for everyone, and I've never had anybody be upset with me for giving them a snake plant. As long as it's in a cute pot, people don't know. They don't even know what it is. So you put it in a window and you leave it alone and you're good. With that said, I felt like it was appropriate to roll in the rest of the Dracaena genus, because we tend to think of snake plants as Sansevieria, even though they are technically categorized as Dracaena now. I tend to separate them because I think of them as 2 different plants. Dracaena tend to be more like foliage plants. Sorry, the window's open. So yeah, Dracaena tend to be like more foliage plants in my brain, but they are also like one of the most easygoing plants, period. Like you really can't go wrong with giving somebody a Dracaena if you think that they might be into a more like foliage plant. One that's not gonna like take up as much space as a pothos. So, I mean, I have a Dracaena that I've had for 3 years that I've tried to kill by not watering it, and it didn't die. So then I started watering it, and then my cat ate it, and it's still alive. Like even though it has no leaves, I had to cut them all because the cat ate them. Like he didn't eat them, but he just chews on them, and it's freaking growing. you guys, this thing does not want to die. So yeah, if you want to give somebody a cute little plant, I definitely recommend a Dracaena. Okay, number 5 on the list. I threw cacti and succulents together, but this is very conditional. Like if you know somebody has those like bright south-facing windows, especially like in their kitchen or something, then a cacti or a succulent is going to be great for them, especially if you know that they are somebody who will never water the plant. Just remind them to water it every like 3 or 4 months and like they're gonna be fine. So not everybody is a cacti person though, so it's definitely something you want to be a little bit more careful of. I personally love a good cacti, but not everybody does. And succulents, again, you want to be really careful. They're not as easy care as people think, and the main reason why that is because most people don't have the lighting for succulents to thrive and be happy. But there are other kinds like jade and like sedum plants tend to be really easy too. So it depends on the type of succulent and the person and their environment. So definitely be really careful. They can be easy care if somebody has the right environment for it. If they don't have the right environment for it, it's gonna die. So that's the kind of thing that's a little bit conditional. If you know that they have a really bright facing like west or south facing window, you're gonna be good. Especially if you know they like weird stuff. Maybe they don't love foliage plants. They might be a little bit of an oddball like me. I like cacti and weird looking euphorbia and stuff, so that could always be an option. Last on the list, I did want to throw in philodendrons, but like some philodendrons, not all philodendrons, some. Like obviously you've got your Brazils, you've got your Micans that are going to be a lot easier than the more like rare varieties of philodendron, but then you also have like your Congos and stuff like that I think are completely fine for beginners if you wanted something a little bit more interesting, because I feel like the rest of them are really obvious and they might even feel just a tad bit boring for us because it's just, they're like literally the basics. You cannot go wrong with these plants. So if you wanted something for somebody that's new to plants, but they wanted something maybe a little bit different and not the generic thing that you see at the grocery store all the time, then that type of philodendron might be a good option for them, because honestly, my philodendron, like my Congo and my Moonlight and things along those lines, they're some of the most easygoing plants that I have. Like I throw water at them when I remember to, and they keep growing. So there's that. Let me know though in the comments below if you have any other plants that you would add to this list. Keep in mind that I am doing intermediate next, which I consider to be like maybe 1 to 2 years of like experience with plants, or maybe somebody who just like has a few plants but doesn't know too much about them. So keep that in mind, because I do have like a lot more plants coming that could be considered easy care and beginner, but might, in my opinion, just be like a little bit more difficult depending on the person. So keep that in mind, and stay tuned for the next one. So if you enjoyed this, you should give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. There's a join button if you want to be part of the official plant fam. If not, there's a super thanks button if you want to super thanks me. And that is it for day 3 of PLANTMAS. There's more sirens. I gotta close the window. This is getting silly. Anyway, I will be seeing you guys later today with another video.